Hey, Austin Studios here, bringing you a brand new bookshelf, but also a review. So last night was the very first episode of The Legend of Korra Book 2. They actually revealed 2 episodes last night. The first episode was entitled Rebel Spirits, and the second episode was entitled The Southern Lights. The first episode starts out with Tenzin. He's telling Korra that she needs to master her spiritual side of bending, and he decides that they're going to go to all the air temples. But before they do that, they decided that they're going to go to the Southern Water Tribe first, meet up with Korra's parents and Katara, and they're going to just have some fun at this spirit festival. It's like the Spirit Light Festival, or the Keep the Spirits Happy Festival, or something like that. It then switches to Mako on this badass motorcycle, chasing down some badass villains. You know, the badass music. You know, gets out looking all badass, taking his glasses off. And then he says the stupidest line ever, like, "That's what I call justice," or something really stupid like that, that just totally took me out of the moment and just made me go, yeah, this is a kid's show, which you shouldn't really do that for Legend of Korra. Legend of Korra is much better than that. In fact, I didn't really like Mako at all in these first 2 episodes. I actually liked Mako pretty well in the first season. You know, I liked him. I loved his backstory, him and Bolin's backstory. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed him. But in this episode and the episode after, because they released 2 episodes, he was just the boyfriend. And Mako is so much more than the boyfriend. All Mako's role was, Korra, I support you. That's really all he did, and I didn't like that. That Mako is so much more than the boyfriend, and their whole relationship it's just not working for me. Bolin and Asami decide to go down to the Southern Water Tribe to talk with this business guy. I forgot his name. We're just going to call him Business Guy. So the business guy, he's just sitting there meditating, and he's going, "I'm levitating." And everybody around him is just agreeing, "Yeah, you're levitating, you're levitating." But Bolin comes in the room and he's like, "Dude, you're not levitating." The guy goes over to another guy and he goes, "You're fired!" And that cracked me up. I honestly laughed more in this episode than I did all of last season. This episode brought back the humor that I thought was awesome in the original show. But back to what they were doing in this business guy character. You know, he goes up to Bolin and he's like, "I like you, man. You were honest by telling me this." You know, he probably wants people to be honest with him, but all these people around him don't want to piss him off because he's this very powerful, rich man. And, you know, I'd probably do the same thing. You know, say, "Oh yeah, dude, you're levitating. Yeah. You're gonna give me some of your money, right?" Bolin's honest, and he likes that, and he decides to help out Asami. The reason why they were even going to the rich man in the first place was that Future Industries wasn't doing very well after Hiroshi Sato was found out to be an equalist. Asami took over the business isn't doing too well, so this guy who's in the Southern Water Tribe, I guess, can help them somehow, you know, and they kind of hinted in that little scene there that there's going to be a little Bolin Asami connection, maybe. We don't know. There is. Come on, you guys. A lot of people are like, "Oh, they're gonna put Bolin and Asami together." Come on, you guys. You know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. From like midway through the first season, I knew Korra was gonna end up with Mako and Bolin was gonna end up with Asami. You know, you guys all know it. You know, just let it take a stride. Don't be surprised when he actually says, "Oh, I love you," to Asami. You know, Bolin. But for right now, they're not completely together because Bolin is, you know, has a crush on this one twin girl. It's these 2 twins. One's a guy, one's a girl. and they live up with in the Northern Water Tribe. I think they're Korra's cousins. I'm not sure because I think Korra's uncle is like the head of the Northern Water Tribe, and I think those are his kids. So I believe they're Korra's cousins, maybe? I don't know. But anyways, I really like these twin characters. They they were not used a whole lot to their complete potential in these first 2 episodes. I think they do have a lot of potential. I think what the creators need to do with these twin characters is they need to do a sort of, Harry Potter Weasley twins, or that other show. What's that anime called? Trying to think of its name. Ouran Host Club. That's the name of it. The twins in the Ouran Host Club. They need to do that kind of thing with the twins, where they're very, very close to each other. And I think it would be completely awesome if the twin says, Bolin, we can't be together. I can't get away from my brother. Me and my brother are too close, or something like that, maybe. Or maybe that they're separated and, they're dealing with being apart from their twin for the very first time. I've just been fascinated with the twin stories where the twins are really close together, and, they don't let anyone into their own little world. They're the only 2 people in their world, and anyone else outside of it is, a foreigner to them. That's what they did in Ouran Host Club, and I kind of hope they do the same route this time around. A lot of people didn't like Korra in these episodes. They thought that she was supposed to learn something in the first season and didn't. But I disagree. I don't think she was supposed to learn anything in the first season. In the first season, they did introduce the fact that Korra wasn't very spiritual and that she had to master her spiritual side, and that's why she was training with Tenzin. But to be honest, she never did anything that made her more spiritual. She might have meditated and got contact with Aang, but other than that, she wasn't more spiritual at all. She just meditated, and only because she had nothing else to do. She took out Amon by throwing a bunch of punches. In this season, this is when she's supposed to learn her lesson. In this season, a bunch of spirits are terrorizing the world, and she has to fight the spirits, and she can't use force like she did with Amon. She has to become more spiritual. When they were throwing all the punches at the spirits, they were using all their fire and water, and it wasn't affecting the spirits at all. It was only when Korra's uncle came and he did something spiritual with the spirits that made them stop what they were doing. I don't know exactly what he did, but they're definitely going to explain it in a later episode. Tenzin's family. That's what's first before Tenzin, or Vacation Tenzin. I liked Tenzin's family. Get up there. There we go. I liked Tenzin's family. Boomy was funny. Kaya was pretty much Boomy. You could tell she's a little different than Boomy, and I think it's a little too early in the season to really tell, the difference between all these characters. But, I like it. I like how they're just this bickering family. Kaya and Boomy are very serious, but Tenzin is... Wait, did I say Kaya and Boomy are really serious? They're not serious whatsoever, and Tenzin's the serious one. And, you could kind of tell that Katara, she's letting them bicker with each other, but you could tell she's kind of like, guys, stop fighting with each other, and, just like a regular family. And we'll get to learn more about these characters, as time goes on. But, for now, we don't know much about them, and, they're fine for right now, Tenzin's family, his brother and sister and everything. But Vacation Tenzin... Everybody loves Vacation Tenzin. His brother and sister are like, oh, Vacation Tenzin. We need to see Vacation Tenzin. And, Tenzin's, like, he takes out the map of the all the air temples, and there's a little picture of Tenzin like going ah. But man, I can't wait to see Vacation Tenzin 2, and I'm sure everybody else is excited to see Vacation Tenzin. But one thing everybody's excited about is Janora's story. They didn't really show much with Janora in this episode, but you can tell they're going to do something really cool with her. I was reading on Reddit that Janora is, she's definitely more spiritual than any of the characters here. She's very wise, she's read a lot, she knows a lot of history, and people were saying on Reddit that, she might be the one who makes contact with Wan, the first Avatar. And someone was even saying that they might do like a Zuko thing where she's not supposed to be, or Tenzin's not supposed to be Katara's teacher, but Janora's supposed to be Katara's teacher, and Janora's supposed to teach her all these spiritual things, which I think is pretty cool because she's like 10, 11, and she'd be teaching this like 17-year-old about spirituality, and that's pretty cool. One thing we find out in this episode is Korra's father was banished from the Northern Water Tribe, just like another character we know. I don't know where they're going to take this. I'm pretty sure he's definitely going to redeem himself. But yeah, and now they're kind of hinting at this sort of war between the North and the South. His Korra's father's brother, her uncle, is the head of like the Northern Water Tribe, and he's brought down like a fleet of ships to attack to make them more spiritually sound, which definitely isn't the answer, but he thinks it is. One thing I liked about the Southern and Northern Water Tribes was that the Southern Water Tribe was very modern. They've made a name for themselves. They are very economically sound. They have very rich people. I mean, that rich guy that Bolin and Asami went to saw lived in the Southern Water Tribe, and it's almost as prosperous as Republic City, but not quite. But it still is very, very rich. Still has the little tribal things, but it's a lot more developed. And the Northern Water Tribe isn't as developed. It hasn't changed for the 80 years, 100 years since we last saw it in the first series. They've stayed very close to the spirits, whereas the Southern Water Tribe hasn't. And they're doing that nowadays. There's plenty of people who are very spiritual, people who aren't really spiritual. The people who are spiritual think the people who aren't spiritual should be more spiritual, and the people who aren't spiritual don't really care about spirituality. And that's exactly what's going on in Legend of Korra, so it's kind of mirroring the real world and everything. Anyways, the last thing on the list here is when Korra and all the gang decide to go to the North Pole to open the spirit portal. And they have to go through the Everstorm. It's I know the creators are big fans of the Never-Ending Story. Never actually seen it, but that name just sounds like something from the Never-Ending Story. It just sounds like the Everstorm. But she goes and she opens the portal, and the portal was a little bit too easy to open. She definitely tries blasting a bunch of fire and stuff at it, which is not the way you're supposed to do things in this season. It's Korra's time to learn that you can't solve all problems like that. She has to become spiritually involved and, has to solve things more spiritually. And she goes into the Avatar state, touches the ice, and that somehow opens the portal. A little bit too easy for me. I think she should have meditated a little bit, seen some visions, and then it finally opens. But, it was probably just taking too long, and they needed something to, they just needed a way to speed up the action, get the story rolling a bit, which I'm fine with. I think they're taking their time a little bit more with this season. The last season was, as everybody thought, a little bit rushed, but this season I think they're taking their time a little bit better. That's all I have to say. Another thing, one last thing, is that the Korra's uncle, the guy from the north, he comes to her and he says you need to find the light in the darkness, you know. And it's like, and I was thinking about that today, and I'm like, that's the exact same quote from the finale of the original Avatar. The lion turtle comes over to Aang, touches his forehead, and he says, light can always be found, or lightness always yields to darkness, or something like that. And it's really cool. You know, the night is darkest just before the dawn. I'd like to thank everyone who worked on Legend of Korra. Thank you guys for creating such a good show. Hopefully I can do one of these next week, right after the episode airs and not the day after. If a lot of people start watching this video, hopefully it'll give me incentive to actually do more. Hopefully maybe I can post some other stuff for you guys. Go ahead and leave a comment telling me what you thought of the show down below. We can have a nice little discussion on everyone else's thoughts. And if you like Legend of Korra, this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to me. Hopefully I'll start doing this every week when they premiere an episode. And this is Austin Studio signing off.